So now, I'm going to leave the light over there this time and look at this and see if I can't see most of the imperfections. And this one actually looks pretty good too. There's a few little spots. I'm going to do this slightly different on these little spots. I'm just going to go down to here for now. And now I'm going to take my light, and instead of holding it like this, I'm going to take it and hold it right here. Okay? And I'm going to see if I can't see any more slightly imperfections. Okay? And like I say, hold your light at an angle. Okay? If you see anything else, have at it. Now that actually worked out pretty good. I think one time I didn't have the light. I had the light too close and I couldn't see enough. Okay, so now I can look at this bottom, and I've got quite a few different marks down here. Some black marks, a blue mark, and I'm going to try to get it off. See, I used to say, oh, I'll just hit that with Kills, a primer, you know, and I'll just do it that way. But because this is so smooth and it's not that fake wood grain stuff, if I put Kills on there, then I have to let the Kills primer dry, and then I've got to lightly sand it. And so, see, there was a black mark, and now that's gone. So I'm going to go around the door knob just a little bit. Here's a mark, and that one looks like it might have gone all the way through the paint, like something's worn on it when the doors open and close. But now I see a little mark here, and that one's gone. Okay, that's the actual wood behind there, so that's okay. Okay, here's another little mark, and that one's pretty much gone. Here's another one down here. Here's one on the panel, a light scratch. And if you don't lightly sand those, when you get done painting, you're going to see it. You're going to see, oh, there's a scratch, oh, that. And if you only put one coat of paint on here, and you think, oh, that's going to be good enough, it's going to cover it, and you got a blue line here, you got a black line, and you paint it, that could bleed through your paint. Okay? I know that doesn't need to be cleaned because I used the simple green and cleaned all these doors first. Okay? And that was something that wasn't coming out. Now that blue line is gone. All because I spent, how long? 3 seconds on it? There's another little line. And a mark. Here's this nice black scuff mark or a shoe or something. It's just on the surface of the paint, and I got it pretty much gone enough. When I paint these doors, that's going to go away. Okay? That's why I used a little piece of sandpaper for this bit and not my big paddle sander. There's no way I could have got that black mark off as easily with this paddle sander than with just a little piece. You know? Okay, now I'm going to look at this door carefully. I'm going to look around the edges on this door just to see if I missed anything from before. Just do a little once over on it, and I see just a hair of an edge right there where the paint overage, as it pushed over that, I can see it's built up there, and it's going to show if I don't get rid of it. Now with the small one, I could get it with the small one. Okay, depending how much stuff there is there. Okay, just round it off. Okay, that one's gone. Here's another little bit right there. And if you don't care about those edges, go ahead. Don't worry about it. You know? But because this is all smooth, I'm going to worry about it because I don't want that to show when I get all done. Hey, who painted those doors? Hey, VideoJoe painted those doors. Don't they look good? And somebody with an eagle eye looks at all the imperfections and say, that door looks like crap. He should have cleaned better around the hinges where that black stuff was. I can see the remnants of that because the paint didn't cover it. He should have cleaned those off. He should have sanded these edges off. Ooh, these edges are still rough. And this edge here, the actual edge of the doors is rough. And the outside edges, oh, I can still feel it. He should have sanded those. He just tells me he doesn't really care about his finished project. If he doesn't care about his painting, then obviously he doesn't care about other things, and I don't want him doing any work around my house. Forget that. He doesn't care about anything. That's what you get. You get somebody talking like that, they're not going to, half the time, 3/4 of the time, they're not going to tell you. They're just going to tell themselves and convince themselves. Okay? So this is your chance to shut them up right now, right here, for them to say, hey, he did a really good job on those doors. I thought I was going to see something. I was going to pick something up, but they look pretty good to me. And if those doors look pretty good, that tells me he spent some time and effort on them, because I know that those doors were pretty shitty when he first started, and I know that they're 15 years old, and wow, they look almost brand new. And it looks like he spent some time and effort on them with his cleaning, with his sanding, with his prepping, with his wiping down, with his paint rolling techniques, and it looks really good. And he didn't even use a spray rig on there. He didn't have to pay somebody. No, I'm not doing this with a spray rig. And so see, they say all that kind of stuff, and now all of a sudden you're in their good graces, and they want you to do work for them. Okay, so now I'm going to do this edge around here, and it looks really clean. To where sometimes you see little spit marks of paint overage from somebody's spray gun, or some dust buildup, accumulation of something, and you're like, oh, I thought I cleaned that from before. I guess I'll hit it now. So see, I'm almost done with this small little sanding bit. Okay? Do you have to hit all these outside edges? I mean, you could if you wanted. I look at them and they look actually really good. And you could hit this other edge if you wanted, but the paint's going to stick to that, and I've got it wiped off, and I don't, you know, that's not really going to do much. But it's all, how much time and effort do you have that you want to spend on your project? You know what I mean? That's basically what it boils down to. Okay, so now I have my sanding pad. On these tops, on this edge, I like to go all the way up to finish. So I'll do this first, and then when I go up, I'll finish going up. I like to try to have my sanding lines going vertical, not horizontal, in case you ever see them. I don't think you ever will, but do it. There I have to go sideways, that's fine. Then I can go up and down along there. Here I can go sideways around the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to go straight up and down. You may think this hardly, what's the point of doing this if you're hardly even sanding? You know, all you're doing is putting edges, lines in here. You don't have to do it too hard. Easy, firm pressure. Okay? Well, like I say, you could leave it like that, but I'm going to do a once over on this door now. Just with my little stick. Gotta get one of those construction lights, you know? Got to. Put more S lines because I flipped this over. And if you think the lines are getting, if you're seeing the lines too much, just go over them a little bit more. Okay. This piece is about ready to be thrown away, but it's enough to finish this door. Etching my lines in here. A little bit more than the paddle sander. And it gives me a once over to see any other little imperfections. I want to take care of it now. I can. Okay, stand back, take a look at that. I'm liking it a lot. Now, at that point, I'm gonna wipe this whole door down. And because it's got dust film on it, and I'm gonna do it, you know, I've seen some people, they'll just do it with the rag, with the dry rag. I do it with the wet sponge, and I'm gonna do that when I get done with all these doors. I'm just gonna flip this over just to remind me that it's done, because I always like the hinges facing out, and I always want to make sure that when I stand these doors up, that top is top and bottom is bottom. Don't get them mixed up and think, oh, what difference does it make? Because if that bottom of the door is actually the top of the door, it's still going to be okay, but I always like to have everything facing up in case when I'm flipping these around, I mark up anything. I'd rather have everything marked up at the bottom, not the top of the door. And usually you're going to see that anyways. You're going to know where the bottom is if you have door bumpers on there, or when you look at these and you know, okay, all the tall dividers are facing up. Just look for a second and make sure that they're all facing up. And here's another thing that I did too, is before I took all these doors down, I marked them. I cleaned off the top. Because lots of times you get dust buildup. I don't want to mark the door first and then wipe the tops off later, because sometimes it wipes your pencil mark off, and you're like, oh, I can read that later. And then after you get done painting all the doors, you think, okay, just look at the top of the door and it'll tell you where it goes in the house. Closet, master bedroom, guests, or master bedroom, bathroom, upstairs, pantry, guest bedroom, whatever it is. But instead of doing that, what I did this time is I marked them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then on a piece of paper, I wrote down what 1 is, what 2 is, what 3 is, what 4 is. That way, and I marked it. Like on this one, if it was number 1, I've marked a 1 and a 1 at the top of there. In case one of those gets marked off, I can look up there and see, okay, that's door number 1. Where does that go? And on number 6, if you got more than 9 doors, you're gonna have a 6 and you're gonna have a 9, right? So if you look at the door, depending how you look at it later, you might think, okay, is this a 6 or is this a 9? And so under the 6, I'll put a line. Under the 9, I'll put a line. So I know which it is, okay? And so now, you know, yeah, that took a little bit of time and effort, right? That was 1 door. Guess what? I had 10 of these doors, and I had 2 sets of bifold doors. And so with the bifold doors, you got 2 doors, right? So I've got 14 door panels to do. And I thought I would get them all done yesterday, and it was just kicking my butt because I cleaned them first with the simple green, wiped them all down, and then worked on the edges and worked with the sand paper on the edges, and then sometimes on the edge I'll use my my little rasp with the thin side, not the coarse, okay? And I'll do that on the side in certain places, you know. And I even went around the door, these door edges. And speaking of those hinge edges, you know, I don't know. I think these doors have only been painted once, but sometimes you'll have an idea whether or not they've been painted more. See on this edge here, see how you've got pieces that have broken off? This one, it's nice and straight, isn't it? This one's rough. Why is that? Look at this one. Look how rough this one is. See that? You know, I'm going to paint that. I'm not going to worry about it, okay? But they should be all nice and tight and nice and straight like that, right? Well, that tells me whoever put these hinges on, after they painted, the next person, maybe when they painted the doors, they didn't take the hinges off. They just painted around the hinges. And then they whacked the hinges off. Maybe they changed the hinges from bronze to gold, let's say. And they whacked those off. And whoever painted right up against the edge, and it pulled that off. You got to be careful when you take your hinges off. See there? That doesn't look very nice, does it? Look at that. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be nice and straight. See? And so I was real careful when I pulled those off, and did the best I could. And then I lightly, where I saw that, you can see that I sanded that, didn't I? I've sanded all these little edges. I've spent some time on here. This was rougher from before. It's actually a lot smoother than it was after I tried to sand that a little bit and spend a little bit of time. But after I paint, you know, that stuff's gonna go away. And I tried to go around most of these. See, this one I haven't sanded yet, but some of that black I'll get off, a little bit of it. You know, I want it to look like this the best I can, because when I put the new doorknob on, maybe the doorknob doesn't fit exactly where the existing one did, and I'm not going to put the existing ones back on here. If I was going to put the existing ones back on, I would have marked those where they went before I took them off. I would have made sure if the doors were all adjusted properly. When I took the strike plates off, I would have each strike plate for each door marked and put aside with some tape on there, and I'd write down number 1, number 2, number 3, however I mark the doors. You see what I'm saying? And then I put those in a cupboard. That way, the same doorknob that I took out of this one will go in each one of these, so I know it's going to line up exactly where the old mark was. Okay, I'm going to do the best. Like I said, I'm going to do the best I can when I do the paint, but that's just something I do, and especially with the strike plates. If you have all your strike plates already adjusted and you don't mark them, you put all the strike plates back on, you think, hey, what's going on here? Hardly any of these doors close properly. Some of these chatter, some of them won't close all the way. One of them, in fact, won't stay closed, and maybe the strike plate had been reamed out later on down the road because the strike needed to be raised up a little bit. And now, if you don't put that same strike on the same door, you've got to go and find it, or you've got to do it again, you know, to a different strike plate. Okay, but because these are all going to have new hinges, new colored hinges, antique nickel hinges, nickel doorknobs, you know, I'll get all the associated stuff that's the same color and everything. If they don't have nickel hinges, I might have to do just the brushed chrome hinges. You know, nobody's really going to know the difference, are they? But when I get the handles, I'm not going to have brushed chrome handles. Mommy wants nickel. She likes the nickel finish. And the fixtures, some of the fixtures in there are nickel. The knobs on the cabinets are nickel. And she just likes that look, okay? So that's what we're going to do for that, okay? So a few things to keep in mind when you get ready to paint your doors. Okay, now that I got that one door sanded, I'm gonna sand the rest now, one at a time, and I'm just gonna keep going like the Energizer Bunny all day long. And on these bifold doors, I told you I had already sanded these bifold doors, and I wiped them all down and stuff. But see, on these are old. And see these, I'm just gonna hold this up here. Look at this. This one, I don't even, you know, nowadays they're slightly different than that one. This one's not too bad, but the other one was squeaking, and I'm just gonna replace these because these are 15 years old. And see, they come in little plastic anchors, so I'll pull the whole thing out, take it to the store to make sure I get the right size anchor for this type, because believe it or not, you go to the store and they have different sizes of these, okay? And even with that, here's something else I'm gonna do on the bifold doors. I wasn't even gonna make a little segment of this, but I figured I might as well. Might as well tell you something else I'm gonna do with these doors. Okay, see these, this is the back side, this is facing the washer and dryer because there's no panels, right? And on these hinges, let's see if you can see these hinges. These had all that black stuff leaching out of here, dripping, and I had to wipe these all off and clean it all off. But guess what? When I put those back up, eventually those are gonna start leaking that black stuff again, because the hinge, whenever you swivel the hinge back and forth, the little pin in there squirts that stuff out. After, you know, you won't see it after one time. It just happens over time. You know what I mean? So on this one, I'm gonna take just this one hinge off, just in the middle. I'm gonna take that to the store with me, and I'm gonna see if I can't match this exact hinge up. They might have it over where I can get parts for the bifold doors, the top pieces, you know. And the bottom piece, I wasn't really gonna replace it because it screws in and out. It screws in and out okay, but I guess I could show you that. But I'm gonna take just the one out in the middle, and I'm gonna take that with me. If I can find them, great. If I can't, then I'll just leave them. But I've got them all cleaned. What I can do if I leave them, I can spray a little bit of silicone spray in there, let's say. Okay, because that little pin, I don't think is designed to come out on that. It's a little bit different than a door hinge pin. Okay, but I'm gonna take this other door down, and I'll show you my initial thought on this. Get the camera over here. You see this one is bent. Can you see how it's bent? It's bent. Look at that. See? And it won't push in and out. And then see this one? This one sticks. And when it rolls around, sometimes it squeaks. See, that's no good, right? So that's why I'm gonna replace that. And I'm just gonna flip this around here. We're gonna look at the, like I said, I wasn't really planning on doing this on the bifold doors to show you this, but if you got a set of bifold doors, I've already taken it out. The bottom piece, see, it's in a plastic, and there's threads on it, and you can unscrew that, and you can raise and lower your door with just that bottom bit, and it's shaped kind of like a cone. It's got little ridges on it, and that fits in your deal on the floor. Okay, I'm gonna look at those and see if they screw in and out okay. Spray some WD-40 on them and stuff, and see if I need to replace that, because chances are the bottom one, I don't think I have to replace those once I get them adjusted. Okay, and then when you have a set of bifold doors, okay, let's just make believe these doors are flipped around the other way. Okay, in fact, I'll go ahead and flip them. Just like how you're gonna see them, okay? Just like how you're gonna see them. They had some wood knobs on here. I was thinking about painting those the same color as the new door paint. We're just gonna use a bright white. But I'm not gonna do that either. But on this, when you have a set of bifold doors like this, when they go together, there's a little deal that sticks out on one door, and then it bends and sticks out on the other side, and they kind of go at an angle. You fit those on the back side of your door, so that when your doors close at the bottom, it kind of interlocks on the bottom, and it lines these two up. That's a pet peeve of mine. When I look at bifold doors, I want them lining up at the bottom. I don't want to see them swaying. I don't want to see one pushed in, one pulled out, and all that kind of stuff. And I like to see them nicely adjusted, and everything will be adjusted properly. And when I put those back up, I'll probably make a video of how to install and adjust bifold doors. Okay, look for it on my channel. And the best way to find things on my channel, if you haven't figured it out yet, you go to my main channel page and you look for playlists. Click on playlists, then scroll through the many playlists that I have and go down to where you see doors. Anything that I've ever shown about doors. You know, sanding the door, prepping the door, installing the hinges, installing the doorknob, adjusting bifold doors, fixing a sagging door, putting a threshold on a door, installing a security screen door, anything having to do with the door, installing the deadbolt, installing a door latch, installing the door bumper, anything I got, you'll see under that. And that goes for all my other stuff. If you see painting, anything I've done about priming and painting and sanding and prepping and all that will be under painting. Okay, stuff like that, go to my playlist. It's the best way to find things on my channel. So that's why on these bifold doors, I brought them back out here just to remind me I've got to take this hinge off. I'm going to take this hinge off and save it, take it with me to the store. There's lots of different things. As you're going through your projects, you're going to find you're going to need different things. I'm getting ready to paint the entire condo. I've already taken out all the light fixtures, all the wall plates, all the different things on the walls that need to be done and cleaned up, and I'll make a quick little video of that too. And anytime I need something and I know, oh shoot, I need some more plastic anchors, I need some toggle bolts, I need this, I need that, I write it down on my list. And then on some of the things, if I'm going to match up, like I've got some eyeball trim, light fixture trim covers, and one of them is missing the little spring-loaded deal. to hold the trim up, I'm gonna take that with me. I'm gonna take another one with me to the store. I'm gonna take the hinge with me. What else am I gonna take to the store with me? Just a couple things, Oh yeah, for the new, see, here's my toggle bolts for closets, and I need to look at those, and I need the little toggle, this wing thing, because all of them fell down into the wall, as I was pulling them out. This one, they installed it and they thought it was in the wall, and it wasn't. It was behind the shelf bracket. So I'm gonna take that with me. It's just gonna remind me, oh, okay, I need to get some wings, and I'll make sure that they fit on here, that the threads size is the right one, and because some of these screws I can still reuse as long as I have the little wing, right? I'm gonna take that to the store, and I've got my hinges. These are the ones off of the doors. This is a 3.5 hinge, and I'm going to take it to the store with me and match it up. You might think, hey, why are you taking that? It's a 3.5 inch hinge. Just get the 3.5 inch hinge. But see, look at this one. This is a 4-inch hinge, and they have different radiuses. Did you know there's 3 different corner bits you can get? This is a short closed radius. See how it's real small? This is a big radius, right? This is for the garage door, so I'm going to take that with me to remind me I need a 4-inch with the big radius. And then they also have hinges that's just square. So I'm going to take those with me just to remind me of what I need at the store. And there, like I say, there's not too many things I need, different things, but I make my list and write down everything. So a couple of the things was to see if I can't match up these hinges, because if I can, then I'm going to get 6 of those hinges for these bifold doors. I'm going to replace one at a time. I'm going to take this one off, put the new one on. Then I take this one off, put the new one on. Don't take all 3 of them off at the same time, Just leave it together, and then I'm going to get the top bits. So this was reminding me to take, before I call these good and ready to be painted, I'm taking the hinge off, and I'm taking these top bits off and making sure I can get the plastic screw anchor things out of those to then take to the store. Remind me of what size it is, because like I say, there's 2 different sizes of those, and I'm going to take those to the store. So that's why these bifold doors are out here, and I'm going to work on those before I get all done. So once I get all the doors sanded, here's the other thing. Once I get all the doors sanded, am I ready to call these ready to be painted? No, I'm going to wipe all these down. And like I say, some people will just take a dry rag, wipe them all down, but then you still will have some of the dust film on there. So I'm gonna wipe all these down with a sponge, and I'll get a bucket of water and I'll wipe these down. And as it's drying, I'll re-wipe it. I'll probably wipe it twice, and then go on to the next door. And I'll do both sides. Like I say, I'll do both sides of the doors, okay, as I'm doing that. Then when I'm all done, I'm gonna take these doors back inside. I'm gonna stack them right here, because first off, it's winter, like I said, and it's gonna get cold tonight. I'm not gonna be painting. I'm not gonna start painting these tonight or anything, and I don't wanna leave them here. Okay, I'm going to bring them back inside. I want to keep them kind of warmed up a little bit, and that'll tell me, okay, those are all done. Then all the sanding dust residue, I'm going to sweep it out this garage again. Okay, when I'm all done wiping everything down, taking the doors in, then I'll sweep all this stuff up. Then I'll make sure I've got, craft paper. Oh, and the other thing, before I take these doors in, I'm gonna put screws on the bottom of those. No, actually, I'm gonna put screws on the bottom of those doors when I get ready to paint. I'm not gonna put the screws on the bottom of the doors yet, because I'm still gonna have the doors stacked inside the house. I don't want to put the screws right down on top of the floor, on top of the carpet, and you get some black mark from the screw or something, or you get an depression in the carpet or whatever. And I don't want any marks on the floor with them sliding out, scratching the floor, because oh, I was going to be good. I was going to get all ready to have these doors painted and put those screws on there. I'll make sure that I have the screws. If I don't have the screws, I'll put it on the list. Things to get at the Home Depot when I'm there. Okay? So always thinking about your project is the way to go. And you know what? Can you be an average Joe and get your doors painted? Of course you can.